I am Halli Casser-Jayne, and welcome to the Halli Casser-Jayne Show, where along with my partner in politics, veteran White House correspondent, and Time and Newsweek alum Matthew Cooper, we slice and dice all things politics, and some days our lawmakers too. Before we get started, the Halli Casser-Jayne Show podcast is always available at hallicasserjayne.com and wherever you most like to listen to your podcasts. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Halli Show Quotes. Now, this week on the Halli Casser-Jayne Podcast with Matthew Cooper, Democrats, quit your damn whining and pop that cork. It ain't perfect, but it appears that President Joe Biden is about to snatch an important victory from the jaws of defeat, and his Build Back Better plan will soon become one of the most important pieces of legislation passed by a president of the United States. Is it what everyone wanted? No, but there's enough in Build Back Better for every Democrat to claim victory, and that's where we begin our conversation. There's a lot to get to, so let's get started. It's Halli and Matt time. Here we go. Good morning, Matthew.
Hey, good morning, Halli. How are you?
Well, I'm not as chipper as you are.
Yeah, I wouldn't, chipper, yeah.
Chipper.
Chipper enough, I guess.
Hey, there's news breaking as we go to tape.
What's the new news?
Adam Kinzinger is not going to seek re-election.
Well, interesting. Well, I think that's probably a recognition of reality.
God, isn't that sad?
Tough to win a Republican primary when you're, a never-Trumper.
And tough because destroyed it. But other than that, hey,
Well, there's that. Yeah, other than that, he should be fine.
I wonder what happens to a guy like that. Interesting. He's a test case.
I don't know. You become Secretary of the Army in the Biden administration. I don't know. You could get a Biden job.
Yeah, I think so.
But then your Republican career is,
Well, I think that's over anyway for a while.
So that's probably over anyway. Yeah. I don't know. You can go be a pundit. I'm sure, there's TV punditry jobs. You write a book about how brave you are.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens because he really
there
is
are career
the first.
Options.
Yeah.
But being a congressman probably isn't one of them.
No. Anyway, we're going to see. But I thought that was interesting. And I knew that was sort of coming. But you know what bothers me? Trump wins. Yeah,
that's the thing, right?
Yeah, right.
You kind of wish you'd Cheney it out, but it's tougher in those House districts.
Yeah, well, it's what it is. So, darling, what a week we had in politics. I don't know. I'm feeling very exhausted by all of this, so I can imagine what the lawmakers are feeling. This. Yeah, no, right. I mean, it's just it's all over the place, and it's tiring. And I want to talk about this Build Back Better that's going on, but in the context of, I really do think that at least Democrats, and I'm not so sure it's not true, I think that they're just enough. Do something. Accomplish anything. Stop putting us on this merry-go-round. Everybody I speak is just wanting to kill. They're just so ticked off with all of it. Build back better. Here's how they're building back better, kiddo. They're building back better brick by brick by brick by brick. I know you have an interesting take on the bill as we understand it now. Anyway, could change in 5 seconds, but talk to me.
Well, I guess I just wrote a piece that's up this morning at the Washington Monthly. I think Democrats have a lot of reasons to be very happy here. I think there's something in here for everyone that they can claim victory on, including Manchin and Sinema. They can say that they, cut the size way, way down, and it's not filled with tons of woke stuff. And, I think they can cite things they like in it. I think the progressives can say, look, this is a huge investment in non-defense domestic spending, and when you combine it with the American Rescue Plan that got passed earlier this year and the bipartisan infrastructure bill that's coming, that's almost $5 trillion this year. I think if somebody told you when Biden was inaugurated and he had no margin for error in the House and Senate that he could get $5 trillion through, it would have seemed dicey. And look, the whole thing could potentially fall apart at the last minute, but I don't think that's where I think I think there's going to be some, little last-minute horse trading here, but I think everyone wants to get it done now, and that's a big deal. It doesn't have some of the, it doesn't have everything on the liberal wish list. It's not a buffet.
Yeah.
It's a tasting menu.
I agree with that, and I like that analogy. And I say this: the thing that when you put them all, everything he's done, if he gets this and this $5 trillion, think about it in a 50-50 Senate, 50-50 Congress. That you were the one who brought up the FDR thing where he had a Democratic caucus behind him. This guy's been fighting all the way down because it's 50-50. A couple of things here. One is, what is in this bill is sort of the same thing that happened with the health care, which is you get it through however you get it through, just like Social Security and Medicare, and you build on it. So he has opened the door in a number of different avenues. And that's
it's not the last thing.
Right, and it's not the last show. So I really think that's important to put into perspective because the left wing of this party is they didn't get everything else. So I do think that's an thing to remember. And I had a point too, which I escaped my brain. Maybe I'll come back to it. The other thing is, but it does leave something uncomfortable, and I know it's temporary, Matt. But this S&M group. Right.
I'm sorry, which group?
The S&M duo, Sinema and Manchin.
Yes.
Manchin in particular is so empowered here, and it's nauseating. I just want to read you some. There's not a single billionaire in West Virginia, right?
Right.
Let's start there. But the Build Back Better agenda in West Virginia jumps from 48 to 70% when it includes taxing the wealthy. That's what his voters want. His Republican voters. He is so off the mark here, and I'm not sure why he's getting away with. I understand why he's getting away with it in terms of the power of the vote, but he needs to be destroyed after all of this.
He needs to be destroyed. Well,
she's flaky and wacky, and she's going nowhere. But this is a guy who really wields a lot of power and has for a long time, and it's unseemly what he's up. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's true. He could have. Those measures would have been popular in West Virginia. I'm not quite sure why the vehemence against it. If that's all from lobbyists and others kind of persuading him, I don't know. But he ain't going anywhere. So just hunker down. And if he ever does go anywhere, he's going to be replaced by, Josh Hawley or Marsha Blackburn.
Oh, make me ill. No, I actually think
you're
West Virginia.
You're not going to believe who comes after him. So
we don't know the things that are in this bill, but if it turns out that there's a lot for the little guy in West, and they are under the understanding that if they vote Republican, they're likely to lose all those perks, it could be a game changer. It gets down to messaging again, doesn't it? The Dems really. Potentially if they can frame it the right way, but they don't know how to do it.
They had a lot. West Virginians had a lot to lose if you got rid of the Affordable Care Act, and they elected lots of Republicans running against the Affordable Care Act.
Well, because of bad messaging.
Right. So we'll see if they can do better next time. But first they got to get it.
Yeah, first they got to get it
passed.
Yeah, but the reason, I do. I'm with you on that. I think they get it passed because what's the alternative if they don't? Even for a Manchin.
Nobody, everybody. It's one thing to sort of posture and be hard to get and be kind of bitchy. It's another thing to actually kill the thing and stand over the body with a gun in your hand. And blood on your clothes. I don't think anybody really wants to be responsible for killing it.
That has always been the saving grace. I remembered what it was I wanted to say about all this. 50% of Republicans, all Republicans, all 50 Republicans, all the Republicans in the House, Matthew, not one of them voting for it.
Oh, no.
We need to make that point very clear. And I wonder how that works for them long term.
We'll see. It could be like the Affordable Care Act. It doesn't really hurt them in the short run at least. We'll see. But yeah, they can always attach themselves to the bill, right? Because a lot of them are for that.
Well, not a whole lot. Not enough. What? How many voted?
Well, a lot.
10?
Well, 7. Well, I think 19 in the Senate. So there's a lot of Republicans in the Senate. But I think in the House, McCarthy's going to try to, beat the numbers down.
Yeah, but it again, a messaging thing here. Oh, what the Democrats could do with this. But hey.
Well, look, your skepticism is heavily warranted.
Yeah.
No question.
Pramila Jayapal. But what are your thoughts on her?
Well, I think she's played her hand pretty well. I mean, it's a weird position because they're trying to delay bills that they want. Right. So they're all for the bipartisan infrastructure bill, but they're using it to hold the other one hostage. Or at least enough of her members are. I'm not totally sure where she is on it. But I think she's flexed some muscle here. And I think yesterday she was very cheerful about the whole prospects and about this happening. So, which I think was a good place for her to be.
Yeah, I think she came around and she's going to vote for it now. She made that clear.
Yeah, she too does not want blood on her hands. She does not want to be seen as having lost control of her caucus and, the squad kills the thing at the last minute. So I think her profile's been raised. I think she's played her cards about as well as you can. I think. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to give her a warning right now. Stop. Get on board. The moment is now. And she should have given it to the president to go to the...
Well, he only would have had... Yeah. He only would have had bipartisan infrastructure.
But you know what I'm saying.
That would have been...
It would have been better.
Would have been something to take over there.
So, I think yesterday accomplished what and Biden, by him, even if they didn't walk away with a deal, it's on the positive. People are talking, it's going to happen, versus the day before, it's not going to. So he goes to the summit with, it's going to happen.
I think the biggest news is that Jayapal and Sinema met and had a good meeting by both accounts. Well, it's, I know, there's a fun crew, I know. Yeah. But that's okay. Well, if that's happening, that's a good sign.
And Manchin on the other side said he indicated he's for it. But of course, Manchin is yes.
Well,
I am.
He and Sinema both were encouraging, but they didn't quite get to yes.
Right.
Which is what you hear if you want to propose marriage or you've been negotiating 10 months. You want to hear yes. You don't want to hear, oh, how thoughtful of you.
Yeah. Well. The Dems are as nutty as the Republicans in their own way. Can I just say that? I mean, I think the world is just a nutty damn place right now, and this country is a nutty place. But all right, so we have this, and now Mr. Biden takes a trip to Europe.
Right.
As he heads to Glasgow, these things are out of the Build Back Better bill, phasing out fossil fuels from the grid, making oil and gas producers pay to emit methane, and that's the bottom line. I mean, well, this is extraordinary what's in it, but he can't say what's in it thing yet.
Yeah, the sticks got pretty pulled from the few part of it, The carrots are all there. All the money to encourage utilities to go green and a giant energy conservation corps and all kinds of stuff. But the sticks aren't there because Manchin didn't. Look, is the glass half full or half empty?
Yeah, it's funny. To me, this really period, I know what's going on with the weather and the high seas and kind of jazz. But what was really pretty stunning this morning was, and I don't know if you watched it or you saw it all, but when they were showing Rome, one of my, the smog, you couldn't even see the Vatican. It was just...
Oh, yeah.
Laden, it just... And I'm thinking to myself, does that... Right there it is, folks. You can see it for yourself if you don't believe it.
Right, there it is, for Christ's sake.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was really awful. It's as bad as I'd ever seen it in all the times I've been to Rome. But I have to say... Yeah.
I mean, I think that... Look, truthfully, I don't think the global gets a lot better until, China and India do a lot more. And I think we need to build nukes. I really think the move to electric cars, that's all good, but you still need power plants to charge all those electric cars. And coal is kind of going out slowly, but if you want to really cut the carbon, I think you have to build a lot more nukes.
I mean, I got one road from me. They scare me.
Well,
they do.
It sucks no matter.
Yeah, I
understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I mean, there's no good way to get it. You want oil platforms off the coast? Do you want tankers leaking oil? Do you want coal? So I don't know. I think the bill's got some good stuff in it on the energy stuff.
It's the most that's ever been done before, isn't that true? This is the most amount of money.
It's the most that's ever been done. Yeah. And look, when the government jumpstarts things, I think there wouldn't be a Tesla today if they had all this money in 2009 in the stimulus.
If they can get us to space and they can get us to the and it's without going into
and I think we were heading in that direction. The problem is with this supply chain and all this other shit.
This is sad. This is just sad.
The demand for oil and gas has gone way up, so we're not seeing the collapse of fossil fuels that we might have.
Well, a friend of mine made a point to me yesterday. Let me share you with it. It's not that it's going up. It's just that people are going back to work and driving and living again. It's no higher than it was.
Of course.
Right. And the other issue is the Saudis, have closed the taps because they got Jared, and he's trying to get control.
There's never a crisis they don't love
to play with, and
to play with,
And I'll be curious as to see how Biden deals after firm. I think that some changes his aggressive these problems and kind of put to this. I want to talk also about Biden meeting Pope this morning. Did you see? Originally, that was supposed to be a photographed meeting.
Right. The Vatican
at the last minute
clamped down on the press.
Do you know why? Or what's your supposition? That's crazy.
I don't know. My Vatican sources are few. My contacts inside the Curia.
Oh yeah, really?
De minimis.
What's your gut tell you?
I don't know. Usually you get a picture of whoever, I mean, maybe it's I think you'll have photos. You'll have stills.
Yeah, you'll have stills, but they're not letting them talk.
You're not going to have video. I don't know. I don't think the Pope is mad at Biden, right?
Well, they have some crazy issues.
The bishops are mad at the Pope and Biden.
Right. But, I mean, he is the Pope. So he calls the shots.
Presumably.
Right. It's just, I just thought the way that was done and the way that was handled was,
It's a little odd if you're Biden and you're super Catholic.
And you're only the second Catholic president in the United States.
Right. You kind of want some action here. And especially when the bishops are being, jerks to you back home, you want to show that the top guy, likes and respects you and isn't doesn't want to deny you communion. The bishops. I do think it's a strange. I mean, it's not my church. It's not my place to complain, but Yeah. I just think it's it's a little. I mean. Yeah, it's suspicious. It's suspicious. Yeah. All right. So from suspicious, we go to the January 6th. Can I just say, what a crock of crap this. Now, I'm sorry. This is just making me, okay? First of all, they haven't slapped the cuffs on Bannon yet. First of all, where is Bannon? You seen him lately? Probably back on that Chinese yacht where he was living for a while. You remember when he got of course had his court case for defrauding people about building the wall? And, not a picture of him. Yeah, Mr. Clean. I mean, oh God, I'm going to throw up. But no, listen. So now it turns out that Mark Meadows has been jerking them. So of course this morning they issue another one of their. We're thinking about holding him in contempt. John Eastman. We may subpoena John Eastman. Yeah. Well, I listened to Mary Cheney last night talking and being interviewed, and she said this like the most nonpartisan committee she's ever worked on. That they're all there's one staff they're really working together. Mary Cheney, the niece. Mary Cheney. Who's Mary? You mean? I met Liz. Liz. You were like Mary Trump. My brain wasn't. Yeah. Okay. I mentioned. Yeah, I used her sister's name, but that's okay. Liz Cheney. All right. Go ahead. She was very encouraging, and she didn't seem to think. she strongly implied they were going to get people coming in. But I agree, they've not done the criminal sanction yet, and
listen, they're not going to do it. They do not want to do this. I was thinking about this. Let me just throw out what I think of, and Liz Cheney is still Liz. So I just want to put that. Everything she says isn't a never Trumper, but the fact of the matter is, she's still a Republican, right wing Cheney. So,
yeah, that doesn't mean she doesn't want to haul Bannon up there.
I think you always have to take what you mean of salt, because she's playing this card for herself as well.
Well, with everybody, right?
I'm the cynic.
That's the nature of they're a politician, But
let me ask you this question. Let's just suppose, they get everybody up there. They get all the goods. They find out Trump was behind this. Trump tried to initiate and to fulfill a coup attempt, may still be doing it. What if that's what unequivocally they prove? Now, let me take where I am going with it and why I think we see so much. Yes, we hemming and hawing and the whole gamut of the seesaws. How are you going to play that to the world? The leader of the free world attempted a coup in the United States of America. What does that do? There's the conversation of, well, we were democratic enough that we took charge of this and we arrested him, except I don't see that ever happening. Or so much for the United States and its wonderful reputation as the beacon of democracy. I think it's a rough call. I really believe it's a rough call for politicians.
Well, it's hard to assess in the hypothetical. I mean, Nixon.
No, it's not.
Nixon didn't.
Why?
Why? I'm just saying. Yeah, well, let me just hear me out. I mean, Nixon didn't go to jail. I don't think people think he got away with it.
Nixon didn't do a coup.
No, he did a lot of things that were.
He was a dirty politician. That's not the same thing. There's a difference between.
It was not a simple case of a bribe or a couple of things. I admit what he did was not a coup, but it was when you add up all the illegal wiretaps and the subversion of justice and the FBI and the CIA for domestic political purposes. It was pretty bad.
Oh, look, I'm not saying it was good. I'm just not saying it's. I don't find them comparable. And by the way, either do the two men who brought him down. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
Well, you're making it sound like the only way there's justice is if Trump is in general population in Lewisburg. That's like, and unless he's in has a cellmate and he's in general population wearing an orange suit, then he's then he won. I don't know what they're going to find, and I don't know what they're going to be able to prove.
They found it already. What are you talking about?
Convict him.
They found it. Oh, God, this Eastman note, the everything that they've got now on Pence, it's there. I don't think there's any question in anybody's mind.
Well, there's
smoke and mirrors by the Republicans, but there's the facts are the facts are the facts, and they're there. The thing is, I will say this every week. This country does not get. I'm sorry.
Again, I don't think his having to be in jail is the only.
What would satisfy you?
I don't. It really depends what the crime is.
Let's assume that this was an attempted period. End of conversation. Let's just take it from that point of view. It was an attempted coup, which may be ongoing. If the President of the United States is found to have fomented and led an attempted coup, what do you think is a...
I don't know enough to say.
No, yes,
really,
you do.
I'm not dodging you.
Yes, you are. You're dodging.
I'm not dodging. I don't know what there's not a charge.
No, I'm giving you a hypothetical. I'm saying to you, if in fact they find that the President of the United States attempted a coup, period, end of the conversation, what do you think? I think that's a fair question.
Well, I have a vigorous prosecution. Absolutely.
What's a vigorous prosecution? I mean, what is the remedy? Prosecution is the act of finding out the information. Once it's established and he is convicted, what should be the remedy? God,
I don't know the answer. I mean, it could
really
be
interesting.
I mean, it can be prison. It can be a lot of things.
Could it be death?
I don't think I will still bet that's...
No. I didn't ask you that, because that's the whole... Because I'm with you, because my whole supposition here is nobody wants to go there, and that's why you have this confusion and this, yes, we are going to... No, we're not. Yes, no, we're not. I think the only one, by the way, is our little E.T. boy, Adam Schiff, who I think... I shouldn't go there.
That's cute.
It's true. But I think...
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I like that.
He's the only one. He's emphatic. He calls it like it is. Today he called Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's crazy. Adam Schiff is just had it. But I personally think, I'm going to say it again, that if in fact all of this is proven and all of these doodahs were involved in it, and I personally believe it's still going on, I don't know what the Putin aspect becomes, because everybody's afraid of that too. But if just by Eastman, this woman who's been testifying quietly, who resigned the day that...
Right.
God knows what she's telling. And nobody knew she was even testifying quietly. I think the only thing that you can do to restore democracy and the integrity of the country is to put him in the pokey. And I don't know, does it come under treason? I'm not, such a...
that's why I asked about the statutes. I don't know quite what meets the definition of treason. I don't think it does. I think treason has to be during wartime.
And treason also, you have to have two people who can prove that it... But that being said, string them up alive, like they did. I was in Hoima, Uganda, the day that happened. And that is a picture I will never forget. On this tube in the middle of Africa, we were watching. Somebody got a television. Back in the day, was not easy to do, and just how appalling that.
Oh, you watched Saddam Hussein?
Yeah, on CNN International.
Oh, yeah. Well,
from this was quite something.
Yes.
To put in one's memoir. But so, like I said, and this Mark Meadows thing, he's jerking everybody.
They're all dancing to Trump's tune. He says, "Don't go." They're not going to go.
So now the Wall Street Journal posts this lunatic rant by the former guy, coup maker. What?
Well, it's just sort of shifty to try to do it in a letter. You don't really have enough confidence in its veracity to make an op-ed, so you sort of sneak it in as a letter to the editors.
And they go along with it.
Yeah, well, Murdoch, right?
Listen, you know what I've been calling the Wall Street Journal just another tabloid with fancy fonts, and lost a couple of friends who were reporters with the paper.
Well, the newsroom.
Nope, the newsroom is as bad as they are. They are under the same...
that's not true.
Yes, they are. They are under the same rules.
The newsroom is completely up in arms over this.
Now, there are a number of times the newsroom...
The news pages of the Journal. No, I'm sure they make mistakes, as does every paper, every news organization, but it is a very solid crew on the news side. Now the op-ed page has been insane forever. Would I work for a Murdoch paper? I work on the news side of the Wall Street Journal.
You do?
I'd have...
Oh, you would?
Would I?
No, I didn't.
Or have I? I didn't know what you were asking.
No, would you?
Well, yeah, I have no problem with the Wall Street Journal news pages.
I don't think.
It's a little boring. It's not my. It's not my jam.
Right. Yeah, mine either.
It's not my jam, but it's good. I'm a paying subscriber, and it's not cheap.
It's not cheap. I just think this was probably the worst thing Murdoch, and it tells you a lot about where Murdoch is on what he's doing.
Well, I don't know. Compared to Fox polluting the airwaves,
well, he is Fox.
It's right. I'm just saying the Trump letter, as bad as it was, is not as bad as Tucker Carlson's commanding audience every night with
Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
The goose stepping.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in a minute. But this stop. I don't know how you stop it because it's so insane. Stuff is getting out there, and he's clever. And
you're talking about Trump, and we're back to Trump now.
Yeah, we're back to Trump, and we're back to Murdoch.
He is under this gag order with he is under this gag order with Twitter, and his blog thing didn't really work out. So he's reduced to these little, irritable mental gestures.
And he's going to Georgia for the baseball game, right? He's going to make a whole.
Yes, I didn't.
Yeah, he's going to make a whole presence there.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering, is he going to get to Virginia by Tuesday to claim credit for Youngkin? He's going to have to. Oh, God. He's going to have to find a way to own the Youngkin victory.
If there's a Youngkin victory, you're thoroughly convinced there is.
I'm not convinced, no. I mean, I think...
the Fox News poll has them up by 4, but I want to tell you something about Fox News. Hear what it is? They put fake polls out there right before elections all the time, where they have their guy ahead. Go look it up, guys. Yeah, go ahead, Doc. I'll shut up. Zip.
I think by everyone's account, it's very close, and, Youngkin may have peaked too soon. I don't know. I tend to think, it does tend to break a little more challenger in general, rather than incumbent party. But,
I thought it was the opposite.
But I don't think this beloved thing is... I mean, Toni Morrison's more popular in Northern Virginia than either Terry McAuliff or Youngkin.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I mean, really, right?
I'm not sure that was his brightest move.
Well, does Trump show up? I don't think so.
I don't think so, because Youngkin could lose now, and I don't think he wants to come if Youngkin's going to lose. I think he only wants to come if he's sure Youngkin's going to win, and then he can claim credit.
Well, you'll know what they are if he does show up.
And frankly, just going back to these Democratic bills, if they had passed infrastructure and then McAuliffe lost, everybody would be saying, that bill didn't help him. It was a dog. If they rushed it out to help McAuliffe and it didn't make any difference, then, that's the thing you didn't want to happen.
So you think that's one of the reasons they're not playing it the way it could have? They're not passing?
Oh, no, I just don't think they could get the deal done. I don't think the progressives were going to allow the vote until Manchin signed off on the big thing, and they're not quite there yet.
I don't know. It's a mess. I know. I lived in Loudoun County for. I started
different place now.
Yeah,
different place.
Completely different place. But that Republican base is still there. And don't kid yourself, because it is. The old farmer.
Oh yeah,
landowner types.
Yeah.
So it's there. It's just who's going to show up, and do the women show up again? I mean, it's the same old. Do the women do the women show? We'll see. COVID. We need to talk about COVID because COVID's kind of weird. Up to 12,000 Air Force personnel noted. I don't know how many of them are airmen, but. Then what's happening in New York with the firefighters and everything. There are an awful lot of white supremacists out there, Matt.
All right. I forget about you in this with the white supremacists. A lot of them are lefties. A lot of the anti-vaxxers are lefties.
I don't think
Not in the NYFD, but
I don't think so.
In the country.
I don't think so.
Well, look,
it's worrisome.
When they start losing paychecks, let's see how many.
Well, that's not the point to me. It's not the point. The point is that they're buying into this crapo, and there it is. Let me give you some good news. The numbers are down. That's good news. In the last 2 weeks, 70,000 new cases. At 70,000 cases a day, we were freaking out when it was getting to 4. So, the numbers are coming down by about 20%. But hey, put it in context. And 1,400 are still dying per day, which is a 15% drop. But here's what what can we say about COVID? Get your booster, which it turns out 89% of Americans are eligible for the booster because you just have to be a little overweight. You don't have to be obese.
Right. I mean, right. No, exactly.
I haven't done it. Have you done it?
Everybody. Yeah, I got the booster.
You did? Did you have a reaction?
Yeah. No. Less than my previous injections.
Okay.
Yeah. And everybody there was like, young and, didn't meet
criteria that we thought that was supposed to be
the criteria that we thought the criteria were. Yeah. So it looks very easy to get. People should get it.
Okay. I haven't gotten it because I had that bad reaction to it. And I still have itchy arm. Did I say that?
Really? Well, maybe try a different drug.
Did you get the same one or did you get a different one? Yeah, I know.
I got the same one.
Yeah, well, because I had the Moderna, and its efficacy rate is much better.
Well, try a Pfizer.
I'll try Pfizer.
Try J&J.
I think every time I'm exposed to it,
that's better than the alternative, right?
I agree. So I want to bring you this up because of DeSantis, because I think this is thing. So he goes on the Aren't I Wonderful? and says Florida has the lowest COVID-19 case rate in the country, and that they did it without vaccine dates, without masks. Quote him, life simply... Listen to
well,
what...
it did for those who aren't dead.
Right? 60,000 people died, and most of them died in those couple of weeks of the Delta. 30,000, I think, the 60, pretty much was in that very short window.
Right, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
But here's something that was pointed out to me. His pre-pandemic margin of election victory, okay, was only half of the state's COVID death toll.
Well, there you go.
And he also, by the way, is taking credit for all of this. Politicians politic. That's going to come back to bite him. That is going because whoever is the Democratic. Is that where you're going?
He's a guy. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah, and his wife has got really bad breast cancer.
How's Val Demings doing? What's going on?
I think that's a happy case.
You think she's going to win?
I do think she can pull it off, and I think what's really interesting, Marco is in the scheme of it.
Yeah,
all.
Marco's very quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet about Trump. Quiet about everything.
He's going to, I'm just a good boy and re-elect me because I don't make any waves. That's his strategy right now.
Right.
I think he's going to get caught up in this Matt Gaetz. The governor.
You think he was in on it?
I think there were a lot
you think
of
he was in
politicians
on the whole
who have my sources tell me naughty things.
Well, where's this indictment? Talk about you're complaining about the committee.
Well, because
this prosecutor has had this other guy singing for months.
I know. Because I think maybe the story is bigger than anybody thought.
Well, but then you want to arrest somebody and get other people flipping. That doesn't mean you just stand still.
Want to get you're going up against the entire Republican operation in Florida, which is no thing, including, by the way, the former president of the United States, who is in charge of right now the entire Republican operation. You know that
let's see how long this goes with it.
You know that since 2000, no Democrat governorship Bush, because Chris was. Did you know that? Go look that up.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So the Republican establishment in this state is scary, Matt.
No, the last Democratic governor elected was Childs, 94, McCain, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Think about
94 was the last.
That's how hard a grip they have. Now, there's some dissension in the legislature with Dude All Right. So we'll see how that plays out. He may not be able to hold his coat completely together. They're starting to balk a little. He wants to sue this one, that one. No, we don't want to do this. We don't get involved. We have to move on because I want to talk about, there's dirt that Harris and Biden aren't talking. Have you heard that dirt?
Have not heard that dirt.
Okay, check that one out.
Find it hard to believe.
She's only appeared with him. The reason I'm bringing it up because it's becoming a Republican party. Boy, my voice sounds really rough this morning.
Right.
Doesn't it? Deep.
I can't pick it up.
Scratch it. Yeah. Meghan McCain broke with you are no longer a part of our family.
Oh, over Trump, or what was the issue?
Yeah. Everything.
Well, her husband's so Trumpy. I don't know why she's so mad at Lindsay.
Why? She's a piece of one. I just want to say. She has such a nice mother. She's spoiled. Queen Elizabeth. I think she might.
Yeah.
She's not looking. Remember, we know that she's not making appearances.
I have not, but she's, 95, 96?
Yeah, she's making appearances. She spent a night in the hospital. When last seen, she was walking with she's not riding a horse. Our thoughts and prayers. I happen to.
No, I hear you. Look.
Richard Burr?
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
But he's retiring.
Yeah, he's retiring.
So he's going out.
We'll find out. Yeah.
How are you feeling about Alec?
Well, it is really, it is just incredible sloppiness. It seems. We obviously don't know all the facts, but, it seems unbelievably reckless actions.
The armorer today, this was like their own armorer. I don't know nothing of those live bullets. How did they get on the set? I mean, really, today. There's a strange story. They don't have live bullets on. There's no.
Yeah, I don't know why you would have a live bullet on the set. I can't. I don't understand, but I don't know enough about guns or movie making.
Well, I know enough to tell you that you don't even need a real gun anymore because you can use a plastic fake gun that looks real and use CGI to put the spark in which is how they do it.
I don't
weird.
know, but you have so much production going on right now because of Netflix and all the streaming services and stuff. There's just an incredible amount of movie making going on.
Which is a good thing.
Which
we all
is
need
which
more
is
movies.
Good. Yeah. The bad part is I imagine this is not the only place where there's less than exacting standards of safety.
But they are under the, I forget, they are actually under some kind of supervision that they have to answer to. Anyway, it's an ugly story. And I don't think, how does Alec Baldwin, I don't know if I can.
Well, I mean, if someone hands you a gun and says it's a blank and goes,
the guy is still dead.
Well,
or the woman is still dead.
I'm sure Baldwin is traumatized, but I don't.
No, I'm not blaming him. I'm simply saying, poor guy. How do you live with that?
No, it's tough to live with. Yeah,
I couldn't. I felt into a bazillion places.
I mean, he's such a hothead when everybody. At least when I first heard.
I know that was what you said.
Oh my God, it was like a barroom fight. What happened?
Yeah. I didn't think that.
Well, you're a better person. That's what I. So I thought. I mean, it wasn't.
No, you
like,
were smart to go with that. No. You see, you're smarter than I am.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was Bob Balaban. It wasn't like
than...
Tom Hanks.
No,
or Bob Balaban.
Yeah.
Or something.
It didn't even
cross
my mind.
Oh,
That's
Jesus.
really weird. Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
Okay, now can I get back to politics? I just want to talk about
before we go.
Andrew Cuomo and with James. Can I just tell you something? I have a problem here.
I'm not surprised you're saying that. Go ahead.
I have a problem with the fact that she is now saying or indicating that she's going to run. That's unseemly to me, darling. And her vociferousness of going after him, which I and still don't. There's a forcible touch complaint that was botched yesterday or deliberate. There's some stuff going on in New York State that is not acceptable. But I have a problem with her. I don't think she should. I just think to take down a governor and then office. And
Cuomo helped take down Spitzer. We've
I don't
seen
care.
This before when Cuomo was AG.
I don't care. I just think if there's a pattern, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, particularly this one.
I think anytime you have a governor who's in criminal hot water and the AG has ambitions, that's bound to happen. I wouldn't.
The Spitzer thing was pretty easy to prove, and I still think it's a he said, she said Cuomo, and that that's difficult because we know about that. Me too.
Or are we talking about all 11 cases, or are you talking about when they filed the complaint yesterday?
Well, I think all of them are. I think it's all. I'm not comfortable how we're dealing with a very tough issue right way.
Well, I agree in that general sense. In the specifics of Cuomo, You really can't. You really should not be touching your state trooper guard.
Well, I know you and I argue over that one, but okay, we're not going to resolve that. Something you and I both have a heart about, but it turns out that Mila Kunis, Neil Patrick Harris, over 200 signed a letter boycott of Israel Day, and I was to see that. Now Mila, she happens to be, but yay, somebody finally, because they were going to boycott the
LGBTQ plus film festival in Israel, because nobody's boycotting the LGBTQ plus film festival in Saudi Arabia, or Iran, because there is none.
Well, also, so I was glad to see, somebody please.
I agree.
Yeah. That was courageous too, Israel, or to be fair to Israel. You got Tucker Carlson. Look, whatever's going on there, this is not acceptable either. What happened to him? Jeez, what a guy won't do for money.
Yeah, I don't have a good theory of the case.
I wonder what happens to him long term.
I don't know. He seems okay
today.
Yeah, I know. I mean, maybe in the long term, he's like, I don't know what happened to Father Coughlin and other demagogues, private sector demagogues. I don't know.
That's crazy shit out there.
Joe McCarthy died in a sanitarium, but Walter Reed. But I don't know. I think
that's where that gets. It's awful. And briefly
Well, we're definitely getting some slowing for a lot of reasons. Yeah, And whether it's temporary, I still kind of think next year is going to be pretty good. But,
better hurry up and get pretty good before.
Yeah.
So leave us on some. Got anything?
Well, I think Democrats like being gloomy. It's that's their sort of natural state, and but I think they're going to have some good reason to celebrate. Barring a last minute screw up, which I don't think is going to happen. So they should be very happy in the next couple of weeks.
So I'm curious as to this, kid. If they do pull this off, just how does play out in the zeitgeist? I just hope that they know how to mess, because they could he could wind up being one of the most successful presidents.
Yeah, I mean, passing a big bill is no guarantee of success in the midterm. I mean, obviously, Obama hemorrhaged seats after passing the Affordable Care Act, and LBJ's Democrats lost tons of seats after passing Medicare.
But I'm talking about the long-term picture.
Well, they need to show this, help people in their lives. And I do think some of this stuff is very direct. The child care support, the child tax credit. I mean, that's like one thing the government's pretty good at is writing checks, putting money in people's pockets.
Giving them their own money back.
Yeah, they're not as good at things like job training and, things that are designed to sort of affect people, change their behavior in more dramatic ways. But in terms of just like getting money back to people, as both the stimulus checks, they're pretty good at that. And this bill's got a lot of that. So,
And
we'll see.
We leave you on a hopeful
note. All right, dear.
See ya.
Stay dry. See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to the Halli Casser-Jayne Show, a production of Resec LLC. The Halli Casser-Jayne Show posts new podcasts Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, and is available at hallicasserjayne.com and on all your favorite apps. Be sure to visit us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and follow me on Twitter at The Halli CJ Show. Until next time, this is Halli Casser-Jayne.